$12 for a roller cover. Or for a roller is pretty good though.
Oh no, I'm talking about the whole kit, the tray,
Oh,
Yeah.
the stir. Yeah, that's
Oh boy.
everything mixed together.
oh
Trust
boy.
me. Yeah. Back again for the Ohio Painting Company podcast. One of the first smiling faces that you see when you enter the door there on old South Tech Boulevard. So, Kev and Davonna, I'm going to let you kind of, do this yourself, Kevin. Make the introduction and give us a little bit more about Davonna.
All right. Well, as you can tell, she's beautiful, and she's mine. Let's say
So back off, yeah.
got that going on for me anyway. I've been married 35 years, and we used to do some painting together. That's for sure. And in
Now,
fact,
hang on. Is that what brought you together? Or is that something Davonna kind of picked up after she met you?
I think it was my charming good looks and her quality cooking that brought us together.
Very good.
But I have no good looks. I'm really trying to just
Painting definitely came after.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So there's that. But no, she was an assistant manager for the PepsiCo Corporation for
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell quite
Okay,
a
cool.
while. Yeah. And so we used to eat free tacos all the time. And the negative thing is that I don't know if you know what a Taco Bell employee smells like. But I mean, when they come home at night, it's just this smell of grease.
Right.
And, but that's not what brought us to get her away from there and into the painting. It was that it
was that you kept saying you needed help.
Yeah. I am very much a person that needs to have an accompaniment.
Okay.
I didn't say that right, but anyway, things get done a lot faster. I like to move around. I chose painting again for the transformation and the fact that, you're always changing jobs. So that's a great thing. You don't have to be in an office. You don't have to be stuck in one place.
Mm-hmm.
But I needed her to kind of make that mode, of transportation, not across town and then to the job or, somewhere else. It's big benefit to having.
Yeah, I'd say so. And with with that extra help, were you always open to help as a younger lad? Because I remember back when I was younger, I just like doing everything by myself. And because I knew that it was gonna be the way that I wanted it. But when you pull somebody in that you trust, I mean, how did that feel? I mean, were you always like that? Were you always seeking help?
We're just gonna, so let's say yes, and then I would love to hear what she has to say because
All
I know
right.
she's already thought about how many times she's quit, and how aggravating it is to work for me. So go ahead, baby.
Well, of course he wants help, but he has his way of doing things. So anyway, that was probably the main things was learning how he wanted it done and what the best process was. And just hanging in there with it. And whenever one of the first things was me thinking that whenever I went to cut in, it was a window on a garage door. And I'm thinking, I need a little tiny brush. I got to get close to that glass. And he was just like, it's going to take you all day. Why are you using that little tiny brush? He's like, get a 3-inch brush and put some paint on it. And sure enough, when you learn how to do it, you can paint up close to something with a great big brush. You don't,
Nice.
it's the same skill, whether it's a small brush or a big brush. It's just, it feels overwhelming. So anyway, but yes, he did like the help, but he wanted it done his way. So
I love the word overwhelming because that's kind of what we're focusing on today. Because when people go out, they do get overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that they have available to them to purchase to paint their house or their walls or whatever it is, interior or exterior. And, I'm not sure, Kevin, I'm going to let you answer this first question. Did we get enough info on Davonna?
I think that well, I guess the biggest thing that I'd like to kind of go kudo wise to her again, as long as she doesn't start crying. Um,
Okay.
she's been very instrumental for sure. Nick and I once, so we decided, 15 years ago that we weren't going to paint the rest of our lives, and we asked God what to do. And she immediately jammed her shoulder so hard that it took 5 different operations in one to get everything reconnected and done right.
Wow.
And so whenever I asked God what I would, so then she ended up getting stable, getting a job, and I'm asking God, okay, what do you want me to do? He says, use your talents. And I said, I don't have any. He says, you're a painter. That's what I said. I don't have any. But next thing you know, Nick came into my life to help, because again, needing a helper. Well, our goal was to make a mess. We talked about that before. And I think we've actually said this on a previous podcast, but just, since she's here, giving her kudos on him, she cleaned up one heck of a mess. I didn't say hell because my mom will listen to this and she'll tell me not to cuss. So,
Even though you just did.
Even though you just did.
And she'll know. She'll be like, figures, But yeah, so she definitely was very instrumental in that. There are things, like yesterday, taxes. Who wants to do taxes?
Nobody.
But
I hear you.
but
Yeah.
she does, and she takes care of it very well. So they're sitting at that front desk, being the first person, it really is nice to have her in that command seat, so to speak.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good stuff. And when you say clean up mess, there's multiple different messes to clean up in a painting company, I would imagine. Some physical, some paperworkish or computerized.
Yeah, it was a lot of paperwork. We can clean up the regular messes. We were good at handling the business,
Mhm.
but being out of the business and working on it, like paper wise, and I mean we've been fined thousands of dollars for things that we just didn't know to do.
Mhm.
We just paid off one of the taxes that we won't have to pay until we reach 3 million.
But that's actually just
Yes.
a regular tax, but they had not been paying that particular or filing that particular, it's called a cat tax in the state of Ohio. It's you're welcome for doing business here and you get to pay it. And so they've actually increased that threshold. So until we reach the new threshold, we won't have to pay Ohio's cat tax the rest of 2024 unless we do hit that threshold. So anyway, but we did have to pay some fines and get that all cleared up and all the things.
And that was just one. So yeah, she's cleared up a lot of it.
Well, with the like you said just a little bit ago, Davonna, overwhelming, and there's so many overwhelming things in business, and people know about that who do run businesses, and I'm sure with the early days of the Ohio Painting Company, it was fairly overwhelming. But for the DIYer that gets out, goes to the store, has this vision in their head of what they want to do with the space, interior or exterior, it doesn't matter. When they get to the store, talk about the wall of paint colors. Talk about the wall of paint trays and brushes and the combination things that you can buy. Because that is just insanity. And sometimes you think, okay, this is built to confuse me. That way I'll just start buying everything. So give me your thoughts on that. I mean, were you guys ever in a situation like that where you're staring at this wall of products?
Absolutely. I mean, and colors in and of themselves are an issue. They're an issue for us and trying to get them, and they're an issue even at the paint store. Like the paint stores will tell us that clients will come in and they're just really struggling with colors and landing on a color and so forth. So anyway, colors are a huge thing, and it's a huge thing to get them locked in on a color, because we're not going to make that decision for them, because if they don't like it and it has to be repainted, of course that's going to cost them extra money, and we're certainly not going to choose the color for them. They have to do it. So the colors and when you go in there, I would say for people, the main thing is ask them at the paint store, ask them what is trending, what seems to be very popular that people are liking. And that's one thing. And another thing is when I go meet with people about colors, one thing is usually for certain, whatever colors they tend to lean to, even if I don't like that color, I'm probably not going to get them to move from it. So people should just, in general, kind of lean into the colors that they like. That's what they should share at the paint store or with their painter that they're going to hire, is that they like things that are in grays or in, and then they can help them get to like some colors that are, good in the neutral zone in those particular colors. So whether it be gray, blue, green, they can get them in that neutral zone so that they're not going too far into like, like a really bright blue that's gonna not look so great in that room. So anyway, so I think I beat the color horse to death. So
Well, it is overwhelming though. You go in there and you see that big palette, I mean, that's just, color after color, and you're thinking, I want a blue, and you go and you look at the blues and you look to the right and then you see a blue over there and it's like, well, how did that get blue over there? But it's just trending towards it. It's like there's this big, it's ridiculous is what it is.
And then you pull the card out and there's 4 more blues on it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So what would be great, I think you've answered this question before. Do you know why painters wear white?
I don't. Yeah, that's honestly a question that I have thought about for a long time, and I never got a solid answer on it. So please enlighten me.
Well, it wasn't from the person that made a bunch of colors, I can tell you that. Because painting used to be whitewashing, and that's just what they did. Everything was white. And whenever you painted and Huck Finn, whoever he was, we need to cut that. I'm
Tom
sorry.
Sawyer.
Is it Tom Sawyer that
Well,
did
Huck Finn's a person too.
Oh, well,
who
he
painted
is.
the fence though and got his friends to paint the fence with him?
Oh, right. Oh man, we're leaving this in.
I was about to look it up on Siri.
No, see, I think Huck Finn painted the fence. I'm not sure though. We're gonna have to debunk this right now though, because who
I
painted the
think
fence
Tom Sawyer had something to do with it, but I don't know.
who painted the fence for Tom Sawyer? Ben Rogers whitewashed the fence. So a scene in 3 parts. On the left, there's Tom convincing Ben to whitewash the fence, as Ben's already got the brush in hand. So we're coming to the story after Tom has done his convincing. So Tom got Ben to do it, I guess. Ben Rogers.
Okay, but Tom Sawyer is the one that did it, right?
I think Ben did.
That was the contractor, right?
Right, but he subcontracted, right?
He subcontracted it to Ben.
Okay.
Yeah, because Tom Sawyer had a fence, he was painting it, and his friends came by, and he's like, "Hey, this is fun. You ought to do it. Yeah, you want to do it?" And so he gets, and then I guess a couple more guys might have even come by and done it. But yeah, so Ben must have been, his last name must have been Moore.
Right, exactly. Yeah. The story is wrong. His last name is Ben Moore.
Yeah. And they wanted more color, so they came up with all the different colors. But yeah, it used to be just whitewashing, so that's where we came up with the white paints or the white painter paints. And then if you got it on you, nobody knew.
Right.
You were always kept clean. But the fact of the matter is that it's like an obsession. I mean, why in the world? Some of the names too, I mean, it's like they just have this thing about making, well, what color do you want it to be? I want it to be pickle. Like, pickle's a color? Yep, sure is. You want that on your walls? You can have it. Pickle on the wall. So yeah, there's all kinds of names that are pretty wild for sure. And it goes along with those crazy colors because you'd never know that you needed those colors, but somehow you do.
A while back we were talking about the Willy Wonka house. And if you guys go back and listen to episode 8, then you'll be able to learn all about the Willy Wonka house and all of the colors that were used inside of this place. And honestly, looking at the pictures, Nick and yourself, you're right. It is a funky looking house, but customers, right? They want this, they want that, so you guys do it for them. But when you're working with that many different colors, what kind of system are you using to make sure you keep them all straight?
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's definitely a lot of note taking.
Hmm.
It really is. And but normally what you do is you just walk in, you figure out what room it is, and you put the can in that room and you leave it there, or
Hmm.
that, two cans or whatever it is. And one might be the ceiling, one might be the walls. But yeah, you try to separate out that paint as fast as you can
Yeah,
to make it
simplify
look
your
neat.
life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
You're gonna work with the client pretty closely too, and just making sure that you're confirming, because gosh, with that many colors, with that much cut in and all those things, you're gonna want to make sure that each time, something is happening, that you're confirming with them the
right.
doors are this color, the trim is this color. So but yeah, that was quite a bit, and had a really good interior crew there. Actually our oldest son when
Oh
he
yeah.
was in the company. So
Mike. Who
and Mike,
Mike
yeah.
is at the Mikey is the guy that answers the phones most of the time now.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
Anyway, so yeah, they were a great crew, and they're organized. So that really helped. If it had been a different crew that maybe wasn't quite as organized,
might have been a little challenging.
it probably would have been a big challenge. But
Yeah,
anyway,
they would have cried. David cried. It's all right. Did you say that that's our boy?
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, it's okay if he cries.
they had
Right.
fun there.
I'll tell you my wife and I being DIYers, if you will, the situation that we get ourselves in is that, when we need to paint something really quick, if we need to touch something up, um, the thing that we say is, hey, go check the basket in the garage and take the paper towel off of the brush to see if the bristles are able to be used again. So and that's pretty much how it goes, because I don't want to jump in the car and drive 20 minutes to Lowe's or anywhere else to buy a new brush. And every time we get there, we're always looking for the deal. What is inside of this plastic wrap, including the
Mhm.
tray, including the empty roller, the cheap roller, and the worst brush in the world? Now, we do have a Dollar General up the road, and that's a pretty terrible place to paint shop. I'm just going to say right now.
Oh,
But we've done it, and it shows without a doubt that, you know, we use cheap products, and it's not something that we're, hoorah about or anything. But that's not the way to go. I understand it. It's a tasty deal, but it's not necessarily the way or the route you want to take. So, what is on those walls that people really need to look for to make sure that they're getting good coverage, have a lasting finish, and maybe even reuse some of those brushes or, rollers, things like that? What do people need?
Well, I mean, like those little handy packs are good if you get a quality one. If you get one with a good solid plastic tray, and a good soft woven roller cover, it might have a little bit lesser less expensive of a maybe a roller itself. So you might want a quality one of those, so that it doesn't squeak and drive you nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not kidding you. Some of them are like you hear it the whole time.
Uh-huh. We do.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
We just get the cheapest one,
Yeah.
if I'm being honest.
Yeah, well, when you screw those on, you can keep screwing it because they just keep breaking the
Right. Yeah.
plastic.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly.
This one's
Um,
$14.99. Well, this one's $12.99. We'll just go with that one. So we we
yeah,
we, we get old squeaky.
yeah. 12 bucks for a roller cover. Or for a roller is pretty good though.
Oh no, I'm talking about the whole kit, the
Oh,
tray,
Yeah.
the stir. Yeah, that's
Oh boy.
everything mixed together.
oh
Trust
boy.
me. Yeah. So,
With the
since I
three-quarter
started
paint.
working with you guys, it's been a whole lot different. And I tell
Yeah.
her that, and she's, let's get these purdies. These purdies are purdy. Let's
Yeah,
get these things. And she is, no, we're gonna get the combination tray roller brush and just
Yeah.
kind of throw them
So
away after we're done.
yeah, exactly. So if it does go, in the garage, in the box with the paper towel that was wet when you put it in there, but is stuck now
Oh yeah.
because it's dry, then yeah, absolutely go with the less expensive drop brush. A drop cloth you can always use. That's the great thing about it. I mean, if you're not going to keep a drop cloth, then I would just go on ahead and get one of those kind of almost terry cloth plastic-ish ones, that you just kind of move around with you and it scooches around with you. But no, there's some importance to things. I mean, a drop cloth isn't cheap. They're $25 for a 4x15 runner, probably more than that now, but so $25. And if you're going to cover a room, I mean, just a medium to large, no, just medium sized room, you're going to need 4 of those. So you're into it for $100 just in drop cloths,
Right.
And a lot of people can just take sheets out. But again, good quality drops with a nice heavy coating of plastic on the back of them, not a thin layer that's going to peel off, but good solid coating on the back so that if it does drip and if it does spill, you're going to be able to catch it. It's not going to go through, and it'll happen. I mean, it's going to happen without a doubt. I mean, you're going to get paint outside that realm that you think that it's going to stay, and then the dog's going to come in and track it down, up on the bed and jump on the bed, and it's going to happen. So cover everything up, but look for the least expensive drops as a homeowner if you're going to throw them away, and if you think you're going to keep them, go ahead and buy them. And then when you get up to the counter, everybody's going to hate me for this. I mean, all the retail stores, but ask them for a discount. Just say, these have got to be on sale, or I mean, and just for the asking, can I have a discount? I mean, I'm not kidding you. I heard that in a book a long time ago, and I sound like the cheapest guy in the world when I walk up to any counter, because I'm like, is there a discount on this? Because I look like I'm appalled that I'm going to pay, $3 for this piece of candy or whatever it is, I just, but it works, if you're buying anything that's significant, I mean, $25 is a lot to pay for a drop. And can I get 10% off this? Name your price, name the 10%. Most companies will say, yeah, I'll give you 10% off,
Hey, why not? It's worth a shot, one of my greatest things that I've heard, and I've taken it with me a lot of times through life, is asking you get, don't and you won't.
Right.
You'll leave the store wondering, could I have gotten? I didn't ask, but
Yeah.
you certainly could have. So yeah, good advice, Kev. I like that. Ask for the discount. Why not? Kevin and Davonna, it's awesome to have you guys on the show. Kevin, you have made yourself kind of a permanent mainstay on the show, which we love. But Davonna, your debut on the Ohio Painting Company podcast has been awesome. And if there is any advice, just to wrap things up, a husband and wife working together,
Yeah.
what do you avoid at the office to stay happy?
I just got in trouble for this morning.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, I think the main thing is trying to leave the home stuff at home. And if you guys are frustrated with each other, trying to, just put that, on the sidebar until you get home later on and so forth. And then also just trying to be careful about PDA, because
You
not
guys are in
everybody
love.
wants to see that. Yeah, but everybody else doesn't want to see that. And, at work, I mean, this is like, I'm at the office right now. I'm like in the public. I've got my brain on in a different way and so forth. So anyway, that could be one of the things that's off limits. So
I got in trouble for that just yesterday. No, it was today.
just
I got
today.
a text on that today.
You got in trouble for bringing up something that's supposed to stay at home or PDA?
PDA.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. She's like, you need to stop that. It's
I
not
see.
professional.
HR is
We've
going to
known Mike
light you up.
forever. Be fine.
Oh boy. So yeah.
Well,
So it can be challenging, but you do just you do your best to have that communication, know what the other person wants, and then just respecting each other in the same way you would just another coworker, so to speak, but also as a husband and wife as well. So
well,
anyway.
if I ever bring my wife on, luckily my business runs out of my house,
Yep.
and we would be the only 2 employees. So PDA all day. Why not?
A PDA all day.
Yeah.
And there you have
That's
it.
the way I feel, Brett. This is my office. I pay
Yeah.
for it.
Wow.
I'm HR. I'm CEO. I'm president. I
Yeah,
make the
that's
rules.
Right.
The-
See where I signed my name there? It's yeah. Oh well, we better leave that alone.
That's the Ohio Painting Company podcast. We want to thank everybody for coming by and checking it out, whether it be on Podbean or Spotify or on YouTube, wherever it may be. And if you aren't on any of the other ones that you are on, please check us out and leave us a review wherever you find us. Like and subscribe on YouTube and do what you can to help us out on the other social media platforms. Kevin and Davonna Sillaman, thank you so much for coming on. We'll talk soon.
All right.
All right,
Thank
thanks,
you, Brett.
Talk to you.